you go bankrupt. And there's a penalty for bankruptcy. Your credit sucks. You're very difficult to get a loan. Very, very difficult for people to trust you again. You have to earn that trust back. And even then, it's always going to be a stain on your record.
It's absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
Yeah, he's stupid. He's an idiot. He loves the fame and he loves the money. So ultimately, if you're just that money hungry and that fame hungry, you're going to just do whatever. You don't care what it is.
Joe Rogan just tore into Jake Paul, claiming these lawsuit controversies and rigged fight allegations have left a permanent mark on his boxing career that won't wash off. People are saying Paul's shiny win-loss record looks empty now. It's all built on hand-picked opponents and manufactured drama instead of real skill. Even when this legal mess clears up, the damage to his reputation stays. Combat sports run on one thing above everything else: respect. Once people start questioning if your fights are real, those victories become meaningless and your whole career turns into a footnote instead of something people remember. That reputation follows you way longer than any big payday ever will.
Because there's a price that you pay that is not worth it.
The whole thing isn't adding up. Speculation about scripted outcomes went through the roof after Jake Paul stepped in with Anthony Joshua, and fans couldn't stop talking about red flags they spotted during the entire event. People kept asking how Jake managed to go the distance with Joshua when Francis Ngannou couldn't last as long, especially considering the massive difference in power and fighting experience. What started as a promoted mega fight between an internet celebrity and a legitimate former unified heavyweight champion turned into a conspiracy theory factory. From behind-the-scenes training clips that looked suspicious to weird betting patterns and loud vowels in the commentary booth claiming the whole thing was more Hollywood than authentic competition.
We're a week away from Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. What have we got here?
As I look at it, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, because we in the business of boxing. That right there is just exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a real fight. But yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in a fight. I'm still the one that be thinking certain things are scripted as well too. So, but we'll see. I always say may the best man win, and main thing about it, may those guys go in there and have a hell of a lot of fun.
This is what I'm talking about. Fight analysts kept calling this matchup ridiculous, pointing out how different these two fighters really are in terms of experience, physical size, and fighting background. Some even said the event felt more like entertainment than real boxing. Here you have a content creator who switched to boxing, with a 12-1 record going up against someone who held 2 heavyweight world titles and battled the best fighters on the planet his entire career. Experts describe the pairing as completely one-sided, suggesting Paul was chosen as an easy payday rather than a serious test. This just added more weight to theories that the whole show prioritized entertainment value over legitimate sport.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, 2-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the bar knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then got done, and he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
No. How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it?
Listen to this. Simon Jordan threw even more controversy into the mix by stating that Anthony Joshua had the power to finish Jake Paul whenever he wanted, but chose not to. Jordan's theory was that the fight needed to be extended to meet Netflix's content requirements, not boxing standards. He argued that Joshua's superior power, experience, and timing were so overwhelmingly better than Paul's that ending it quickly would have killed the entertainment factor and hurt streaming viewership. The fight supposedly needed multiple rounds, building drama and sustained tension to justify the massive streaming platform and worldwide audience. Jordan didn't provide evidence for these claims, but his statements matched what a lot of fans were already thinking. When streaming giants and huge money get involved, the show sometimes becomes more important than the competition, making people wonder how authentic the fight really was.
Look at it. Jake Paul posted on Twitter after the fight, jaw broken, heart and balls intact. That's a good thing. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. I mean, he's coming out of it as if, well, yeah, I got battered in the end, but boy.
That's what he will do. I mean, it depends what you think this was. I mean, I never felt it was anything other than entertainment. I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, well, when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns one-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why? You watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? Because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasised, listen, guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step, irrespective. I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able to move around the ring and get away from Anthony Joshua.
Following the bout, Ryan Garcia jumped on social media with a direct and attention-grabbing response that got the boxing community talking. Garcia posted that while he gave Paul props for his effort, he also threw in a sharp comparison involving Gervonta Davis, another major name in boxing. Garcia's post read that he believed Davis would have handled Paul much worse, implying that Davis would have landed harder shots or finished the fight more convincingly than Joshua managed to do. Most boxing insiders sided with Garcia on this point, agreeing that what they witnessed wasn't top-level boxing. Even with the fight behind them, people continued criticizing the matchup itself, with observers arguing that Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul never should have been sanctioned to begin with.
I mean, look, fair play to Jake Paul. He has a lot of guts, and the fact that he wasn't carried out of this fight on a stretcher, you know, certainly I guess you can say is a positive. But what did I think about this? What did I think about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Look, it felt like Anthony Joshua carried him. It felt like Jake Paul brought in as much of a negative anti-style as possible, circling away, constantly holding Joshua, constantly falling to the ground. Again, while you're certainly going to give respect for the YouTube star turned fighter for having the guts to put on this type of show and to stand in there for as long as he did until a clean right hand in the corner when Paul was absolutely exhausted, dropped him and ended the fight. This is not elite boxing. And we knew that coming in, but if these fights are going to be sanctioned as official fights, like the Mike Tyson fight from last year, like this one,
making these concerns even bigger, Oscar De La Hoya weighed in on Jake Paul's earlier fight with Mike Tyson, claiming that bout was also arranged. He stated that Paul essentially paid Tyson to guarantee a victory for his record, and pointed out that numerous analysts noticed Tyson appearing restrained and not fighting with the aggression you'd expect in a real professional fight. De La Hoya stressed that this wasn't a one-time thing, suggesting there's a clear pattern of predetermined results throughout Paul's boxing journey.
About how staged this fight was. I do believe it was scripted. What? And I believe that Tyson was certainly held back. What? Look, I'm a fighter and I can see it. It goes on the record what? And it was sanctioned. What? So Jake Paul paid to get the W on his record? Bruh. For what? For your own personal satisfaction? Bruh. I keep telling you, if you want to be a real fighter, what? Like you say you want to be, what?
Even though Tyson has pushed back against claims the fight was choreographed, his actual performance disappointed countless fans who started questioning whether this bout should count toward his official fight history. For a fighter with Tyson's legendary reputation, the absence of his trademark intensity was impossible to ignore, creating serious doubts about whether the fight was legitimate.
Who Kid, recently broke some news about how he spoke to one of the Paul brothers and that they had an agreement that no one was supposed to get severely injured and that the fight had to last at least through the 6th round. As I was watching the fight, I'm like, damn, it looked like Mike came out a little hot. And I saw him do this one thing where he kept biting his gloves. I know there was a big age discrepancy here, right? Jake Paul being 27, Mike Tyson being 58, of course. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is he biting onto his glove to hold back? Because it looked like he had something there. Even some of the jabs Mike threw, I'm like, he stopped his punch. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist here, but thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if Mike completely exerted himself or he just got really tired.
I don't know about it being rigged or not, but I do feel bad for people who really are invested in the sport.
You want to know why I also think it might be a bit rigged? When the fight ended, Jake Paul kept calling out other fighters, and he kept referencing, "You guys need me. You guys need me." And I'm realizing he's meaning his money. So if boxers and people in the industry know that, hey, if we go get with Jake Paul, we'll make X amount, I wouldn't
Get that out of here. During the Jake versus Tyson event, observers pointed to suspicious rules that seemed designed to help Jake, particularly a contract provision that supposedly cost Tyson money if he scored an early knockout of Paul. This sparked major questions about whether financial terms were shaping the fight's outcome, instead of pure athletic competition.
Y'all already know I'm mad about this fight. I really wasn't even going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include: the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. I'm gonna let y'all read that. I knew it was a setup because you know what? Mike Tyson had a lot of open air opportunity to smash Jake Paul, and he didn't do it. And I'm just like,
David Hay shared another angle suggesting that Paul might be overconfident based on his history with potentially arranged fights, thinking he can handle Joshua the same way. Hay mentioned that Paul could be drawing from previous experiences with scripted outcomes to assume he can get through Joshua without major problems, but Joshua has apparently rejected any predetermined arrangements, demanding that their fight happens as a real competition. Hay explained that this creates a major problem for Paul, since he's now dealing with a genuine elite level opponent instead of someone who might go easy on him for money or publicity reasons.
Is Anthony Joshua going to go into this fight with Jake Paul with the same mindset after seeing him fight on a beat on points a 58-year-old Mike Tyson? My opinion is no. I think he feels zero fear in this fight. He's in a unique situation where he's going into a boxing ring with someone he doesn't believe deserves to be there. So is he going to be paying the price in training? Is he going to be getting those early nights? Is he going to be pushing himself in sparring to get the very best out of himself like he did for the Ngannou fight? Unknown. I don't know. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll want to risk having any hard sparring just in case he gets injured. Because if he gets injured, he misses this $75 million payday against someone he doesn't believe will be good enough to be a legitimate sparring partner for him. You know what I mean? So it's a very unusual situation, very, very unusual. And, you know, obviously all the advantages are in Anthony Joshua's favor, except this one, except the mindset factor. Jake Paul has nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain. Him reaching round 3, round 4 is a win, in my opinion, and in many people's opinion. If Anthony Joshua doesn't detonate his right hand or a jab off of Jake Paul in the first 30 seconds, minute, and put him in problems, you know, some people would feel that he's underachieved or he let boxing down. You know, people don't consider Jake Paul a real boxer because he's got such a big profile on social media, and he's got that background that he's come from. But he's dedicated himself to the sport for the last 5-6 years.
Boxing critic Chris Eubank delivered a harsh reality check about Jake Paul's abilities, holding nothing back in his evaluation. He stated that comparing Jake Paul to Anthony Joshua is completely pointless. Even with all the training footage floating around online, Jake still looks like someone learning basics instead of a real fighter. Eubank stressed that these videos actually expose his lack of experience, showing someone who's still trying to master fundamentals rather than getting ready to face a proven former heavyweight champion. In Eubank's opinion, the difference in skill level, punching power, and ring intelligence is obvious, proving that Jake isn't anywhere close to ready for someone like Joshua.
Because people do this all the time. They'll be real dicks about it. Some guy will look great on the mitts. They'll go, well, the mitts doesn't count. It's like, well, it kind of does count. If I have you working out on the mitts from a year ago, and I have a new tape today, and I can juxtapose those, I actually can see some timing. I actually can see some speed. I actually can see some footwork. I can see some power, and I can compare it. Now, Jake is in a wildly difficult spot. Boxing is unlike, by example, track and field. Track and field is all about personal records. You do not need to be faster than the guy standing next to you, right? Now you can win and you can get trophies on that, but it's not actually your goal that your coach is working on you with. You just today want to be faster, throw further, jump higher than a previous version of yourself. Boxing doesn't work that way. It is straight. It doesn't matter how good you are. It is 100% comparative to how good is this guy. I understand that. But as human beings, we have to start somewhere. And I think there are many things that are going to be wins for Jake. I do not subscribe to the idea. Now he does. He will not agree with me, but an older version of himself, as he looks back, will see that the Chael makes a very fair point. There's a number of things that are going to be wins or not for Jake. Now, Joshua's got one. Crush that man. Get your hand raised. That's it. Well, I don't see it like that for Jake. I don't see it like that. And I know you guys don't either. I know you don't, because so many people that are predicting this fight won't even happen. Or that are predicting if this fight happens, these guys are going to be nice to each other. What does this word exhibition mean? Right? There's all these things where you're trying to take away, and you're not necessarily wrong. If Jake
Just making it to the fight counts as a victory. Even with all the drama surrounding it, serious money is being wagered on this fight, and the betting activity has become another source of controversy around the Paul versus Joshua matchup. Regular fans, recreational bettors, and even some celebrities have been placing real bets on different outcomes, which adds another layer to the ongoing argument about whether this is genuine athletic competition or pure entertainment. Still, Rogan responded to Jake Paul getting knocked out by Anthony Joshua by giving him some unexpected recognition. Rogan admitted it was actually impressive that Jake survived 6 complete rounds against a proven heavyweight powerhouse like Joshua. He reminded people that most critics overlook the huge difference in experience, punching power, and boxing intelligence between someone who started on YouTube and a former world champion. Even though the knockout was bound to happen, Rogan highlighted that going the distance showed real toughness, dedication, and serious physical conditioning, even if it couldn't close the skill gap.
Look, that guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
He knocked him
dead,
the fuck out.
and
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no, that was skillful. So like, there's like boxing matches where you see 2 guys just slugging it out. One guy lands a punch, and yeah, he landed a good punch. What Jake did is he slid back and landed a punch.
Yeah.
It's like the athleticism along with the intelligence, the technique. I'm like, he's not even doing it that long. And he's also hyper competitive, even though he's wealthy.
Yep.
You know, like you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
But
competition.
it hasn't, yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just
Yeah.
the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front of that guy, and he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
Yeah, his movement in that fight was crazy.
It was very good.
Yeah,
It was very good.
He was really keeping him moving around the whole ring, and then
you can't afford to get tired.
You
And
can't get
that's
tired.
the thing is, like, he gets tired in a lot of his fights in the later rounds. You should really sort that out. Because if he had a much bigger gas tank, like if he was training with like some of these elite world-class strength and conditioning coaches and just worked on his cardio, he'd be beating way more guys.
You think so?
Absolutely correct. Rogan gave Paul credit for showing heart during the fight, but he cautioned that absorbing punishment like the blow that broke his jaw in 2 spots can cause permanent damage and shouldn't happen again. He emphasized that the physical and mental cost in fighting sports frequently exceeds any financial rewards or celebrity status, pushing Paul to prioritize his long-term health over pursuing bigger fights. Rogan warned him that repeated damage comes with serious consequences, including potential brain trauma and depression, and suggested he should consider stepping away from boxing early rather than risking additional serious injuries.
Bro, he got hit with a bomb. Breaks his jaw in 2 places. The thing is, I would hope that he recognizes is right now he's doing great and he's only, whatever he is, 28. There's a price that you pay that is not worth it. And that price is a severe brain imbalance that's going to lead you to addiction. That was real damage. The inside of your head. There's a lot of damage going on in there too. If he doesn't have your respect after that fight, that guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He's got nothing but respect from me.
Do you think Jake Paul's fights are really scripted, or is it all hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments.